All right, welcome back to Countdown to My First Ironman, 11 weeks. October 22nd, 2023 in Sacramento, California. All right, so we're 11 weeks away. We're almost in the single digit weeks. I'm just going, my mind is just, it's running. Now it's like, it's go time. Not yet, but it's close enough to be, it's go time. These 11 weeks are gonna fly by really fast. I mean, starting from the 24th week till now, I mean, total surprise, but a lot of information today. Not information, but at least, I guess a lot of news today. All right, so it is now Sunday, and I arrived back from my backpacking trip on Tuesday. So if you haven't seen last week's video's up. I share my backpacking trip. I had an amazing time, great time. People were awesome. Aria did a wonderful job putting it together. The tour guides were awesome. I mean, everything was amazing. So on this week, right, Monday, we're coming down. And again, we have our backpacks, which are not as heavy because we've eaten the food that we took up, but still fairly heavy enough because we're still carrying not just our stuff, but the team stuff as we distributed all of our stuff. So the backpack is heavy, and then going down, that's the hardest part. When you work out and you get sore the next day, the soreness comes from the deceleration of the movement. So if I'm doing a squat, right, that down portion is the portion of the exercise that I'm gonna get sore from. So going down this mountain for 5 miles with a heavy backpack really did a number on my hips and my legs. Not noticeably, not at the time, but later on in the week, which brings me to today. So then as soon as I come back on Tuesday, I traveled all morning. I even missed one of my flights like an idiot, but I finally get home around, 2-ish, 3-ish. I get home. Normally I unpack as soon as I get home. But I was so tired that I didn't have time to unpack. I just threw it on the floor, and I think I just rested my head to get some sleep. Didn't want to go to jiu-jitsu, but ended up going to jiu-jitsu and teaching. And luckily I did go because one of our team members gets poked in the eye, and I had to take him to the emergency room. So I didn't want to go to class, but Lissy asked me, please, to help me out, which I did. So I kind of went without wanting to go. And then, no one wants to go to the emergency room, right? If it's you or someone else. So, being at the emergency room all night, they take forever. So I didn't get home, or we didn't get home till, 11, the injured fighter and I. So 10:30, 11, we get home. I had woken up Tuesday morning at 3:30 in the morning, traveled all morning. So it was a very busy morning and busy night. And I wanted to work out going to jiu-jitsu. I was like, you know what? I didn't get to work out today. Let me do a round or two and, work out. But in the first round, I had taken it off. And the first one is when the student got injured. So the universe was speaking to me like, hey, it's not meant for you to work out today, which is totally fine. So I took Tuesday off. I was supposed to do a cycling, but with everything happening, not having the time, that's fine. So I lose a day of training, Tuesday. My first missed workout without having a workout to replace it. So, okay, done that. So now Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday is now working nonstop, catching up with the appointments I just missed from the week before. So I'm playing catch up. And at the same time, I'm also working out, jumping right back into the workouts. So all that combined, it is now Sunday, and I'm behind. I now feel as if I'm behind. I'm playing catch up, right? And I mean that in the sense of my life has now have been shooken up, still worked out, dealing with life's shakeup, and my energy levels are now dropping, right? So if you see my score from last night's sleep is 74, but the readiness is at 55. And I've been watching the readiness slowly come down as I've been back. So I've been playing catch up. I'm still working out. So the Aura ring is really, identifying that something is wrong with me where I'm not getting the rest that I need. So, after a full day Saturday working, and Saturday, I ended up doing the longest bike ride, which I'll discuss later, which is 3 hours, 30 minutes, the longest I've done. And then with an hour run after, right? That's an experience in itself, which I'll speak about that later. And today had a full morning, Sunday morning, right? I just got off, from 6 in the morning to 11. And I still need to train and run for 2 hours and 30 minutes. Now I have a decision to make, right? So I can be dedicated, I can go out and run, but is that run going to benefit me or is it going to hurt me, right? All the signs are popping up saying, stop, 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 from going to the emergency room to the low score that I had this morning. And now here's the decision, right? Do I go or do I not go? And as a trainer, right, if an athlete came to me with this scenario and I'm not emotionally involved with it, I would say absolutely take time off, right? It's not worth pushing your body until you break down, right? You're 11 weeks away. If there's a time to rest, then the time is now, because you still have time away where this rest is not going to, or this missed day is not going to affect you as if it was 3 weeks away, right? And I would say rest. So I'm now the trainer telling the athlete, Omar, it's time for you to rest. And today is the first day that I've decided to not work out and not have a replacement for the workout. Today, I got to do a lot of recovery work, right? And I need to play catch up on my chores around the house. I have not been doing anything. I have the bare minimums, but since I left on last week, I've had look at this. Oh my gosh. It's all over, right? I have all this, right? I emptied out my backpack to take it backpacking. And, now I just emptied out my backpack. There's so much more mess that you can't even see. I need to take care of some business around the house. If I feel comfortable around my house because it's clean, I'm going to feel comfortable as an athlete, preparing myself mentally in my home safe base, which is my house. So I need to do some cleaning. I need to do some resting, and I have some more experiences I will love to share with you a little bit later, not right now. But like today, if this is the floor, I'm tapping. So today's my first day of fully rest, not doing anything. I need to catch up on some sleep. I need to catch up on some day-to-day chores around the house, and I need to spend some time with the pack. So I've been out doing all kinds of crazy things, working out. The pack needs some togetherness. So today will be the day that the pack stays together and clean up around the house. So that's my update for today. All right, welcome back to the video series of week 11. The biggest difference that I noticed going up to the mountains and coming back, there was one major difference, and it's obvious. But let me explain first why, as opposed to just the obvious answer. So since I've been training for this event, I've been gradually improving my fitness. Cardio, my fitness, my endurance, my strength, everything. So because everything's been so gradual, there really hasn't been a significant change for me to say, there's change, right? And I think out of all the videos that I've been watching, getting my mind prepared for this big race, one of the things that I constantly hear is the self-doubt from the athlete, right? It's not a big self-doubt. It's just like, have I done enough training? Am I ready for this race? I don't think that I'm ready for this race because, no one really knows until you go out and do the race, right? I have no idea if what I'm doing is even working. I don't know. So when I went to Colorado, the elevation change was enormous, right? That's number one, Mile High City. But because I was in shape, or am in shape, I didn't really feel that significant change of, oh my God, like my lungs are struggling to breathe. Like I remember a couple times when I was in Guatemala back in 2006, we were at high elevation, and I remember, I didn't know that we were in high elevation, and I'm walking, and all of a sudden, I'm, huffing and puffing, and I'm like, man, why am I so tired? Why am I exhausted? Or why can I not breathe? Then I would check the altitude, and then, we're at, whatever 1,000 feet. So, I've felt the challenges of high altitude, right? In Kilimanjaro, same thing. When we got to 15,000 feet, that was the first time I ever felt altitude sickness. I mean, it was a very bad night. But on this trip, there was no altitude sickness. There wasn't a significant change of holy Christ. There's oxygen, no oxygen. It wasn't until I got home that I felt the contrast of what I remember my cardio was just a couple days ago to now all of a sudden I'm back from Colorado and I feel the difference. I mean, it was amazing. Like that first night, or the first day I came back, the first exercise day. I didn't get to exercise the first day because Tuesday, I had to take one of my athletes to the emergency room, got poked in the eye during jiu-jitsu, so I didn't get to work out. So that was my forced rest. And then I ran on Wednesday. I cycled first, and I just felt like a huge difference in my lungs of just like, I can visualize as my lactic acid started to build in my legs. Every time I took a breath, I can just visualize this meter, right? I played enough video games to see meters where, not meters in distance, but meters, like gauges, right? So, when you have a character, you have a full gauge, that's your life. And as you start to get hit or do whatever, you start dying, and then your gauge, your meter starts to shorten, and there goes your character. I was able to visualize that while I was working out. I can visualize that meter of lactic acid starting to come up, and then as soon as I took a breath, I can just visualize that meter go right back down, because I was alkalining my blood just from every single breath. I felt like I was balanced, right? Before, when I'm not in shape, as my muscles fatigue, I can't breathe fast enough in order for that lactic acid to come down. Not on the first day coming back or my first workout day. I just felt like I was just pushing it. And every time I took a breath, it was just efficient. I mean, extremely efficient, where I just felt invincible. I mean, it's been a long time since I felt that way. So I was like, okay, maybe it's just a fluke. So then I would go out and run after my bike ride. And I was able to run with Lissy. The unfortunate part about running with her at that time, she's not running and preparing for a triathlon like I am. So my pace is a little bit faster than her, but I didn't want to be, that guy where I'm running, way ahead of her. So I was slowing down on purpose. But, again, I was feeling that invincible feeling. I'm like, whew, oh my God, I feel like I can run, and I feel like I just wasn't getting tired. And then, there was a time where we kind of split our distances. She went one way, I went the other way for a longer route, and I was able to just turn it on. And although I only ran for, I believe, 45 minutes, maybe an hour at the time, but I ended up finishing 5K, and not only did I finish the 5K, but it was one of my fastest times as well. So I'll show the little badge that I got, but I was flying, and it was just, I felt the difference, the contrast between what I remember, which wasn't that long ago, to now, right? Normally that change is so gradual that you really can't tell the difference, again, significantly, but because I went high altitude, came back, there was an immediate contrast feel, and it felt amazing. Man, I thought I felt good in Colorado. No, when I came home, I felt good, because where I'm at in San Francisco, or the Bay Area, it's sea level, and I just came from 10,000 feet, so that was a huge difference. And if I felt that good, I'm thinking that I should spend the week before the race in Sacramento in Tahoe, right? I think I should go up there for a week, kind of get my lungs acclimated to that high altitude, so that when I come back on the first day, or hopefully second day for my race, that I'm gonna feel that contrast. I mean, it felt amazing. If I can feel that feeling on the race, 12:33, the time of my goal, is definitely gonna be achievable. Not that it doesn't feel achievable, but like, that's how confident I felt and feel when I feel that contrast. So I really, really hope, and I hope it's not like a drug. For those people who don't know anything about drugs or do drugs, not that I do drugs or I do know about drugs, the one thing that people do about drugs is they're always chasing that first high, right? The first time you ever get high, it's supposedly an immense feeling that every time that person does it after, they're chasing that original high, that original feeling, and they never get it. So that the more that they do it, the more their body becomes adapted to that stimulant or whatever it may be. So they're always chasing that high, that first high. I'm hoping that I don't chase that contrast high that I felt coming back. Like, I'm hoping I will be going up to Tahoe in September. So I'm gonna do my training up there, and when I come back, I'm gonna continue my training, and I wanna see if I can feel that contrast. Because if I do, I'm headed up to Tahoe the week before the race. That way I can get that original high, that first high that felt just amazing. So that was the biggest thing that I felt from going to this backpacking trip in Colorado. That's what I knew it was for. That's what I wanted it to be for. And I felt it. Not only was it a challenge to see if I'm in shape at high altitude, which I definitely am, but that wasn't as exciting to me as that contrast feeling of being home and just feeling the difference of my cardio. Man, like every single time I took a breath, man, my lungs just felt like it just took all the air in the world. Like I felt it was an amazing high. So we're gonna see if I can mimic that again in September. And if I do, boom, I'm scheduling another time in October before the race, the week before the race. So that way I can come down exactly at the time of the race and just be lung full capacity of being able to consume as much oxygen as possible. So, and again, Sacramento is sea level. So the higher altitude, the better my lungs are gonna feel. So I wanted to share and express how I feel with the difference between high altitude training and as soon as I got home training. So at sea level training, huge difference. That is my experience, and that's what I wanted to feel for this Colorado backpacking trip. Although the backpacking trip, again, nothing transferred over to Ironman, but that confidence that I felt and feel from my lungs, that was valuable to me. So that trip was huge. Not only did I have a great time with all my peoples, but what I got out of it definitely increased my self-esteem. So I will share my grading next. All right, quick little update on my cycling shoes as I attempt to take these off. All right, so real quick, these are pretty amazing. When I put the shoe print or the sole of the shoe, combined it or compared it with my old one, the width of the shoe was just the same, right? So although my shoe goes through, the sole goes through here, what really makes it wide is the height and the width. Like, think of the dome, like this area here, right? So it's not compressed like this, where it's smashing my foot. So I went on a 3.5 hour bike ride on Saturday, and the only issue that I had was a slight, I guess, tension on the pinky toe on the right side. So it wasn't that it was tight. Well, it was tight, not because of it being small, but I think because the shoes were new and hadn't broken them in. They recommend that you never ride your race with new things because they haven't broken in. Well, I went on a 3.5 hour bike ride breaking in my shoes, which was not smart. But I really wanted to test to see how they were gonna feel, and I'd rather know sooner rather than later. So they do pass, they're comfortable, my toes can move in the inside. So all in all, the shoes are good. So we fixed that problem. I don't think I have any other issues with my gear. So I think all my gear is pretty much set. All right, well, now it's just the conditioning for the next several weeks. All right, welcome back to week 11, and this is my grading for my week. All right, let's start us off with the swim. As you guys already know, I was coming down the mountain on Monday and did not get home until Tuesday. So my swimming days usually are Mondays and Fridays. So I missed Monday's swimming appointment or swimming session due to the hike, but I made up for it on Friday. So 1 out of 2 is definitely not good. So I'm definitely giving myself a C for this week's grading for my swimming. Now the cycling. I ended up doing 3 days of cycling. I missed one, which was the Tuesday that I had come back, and that was the night that we went to the emergency room. So that night, all my working out plans went out the window. So I definitely missed a Tuesday's cycling, but ended up doing 3 other days. Ended up doing my longest ride, which is 3 hours and 30 minutes, and the shoes felt great. So 3 out of 4, I'm gonna give myself a B for my cycling sessions for the week. And last but not least, the running. I ended up getting 3 days of running, which was good, but I missed Sunday's run because I needed to take the day off. So I'm gonna give myself a B- because I missed that workout, and again, definitely fatigued, definitely tired. It was a much needed rest, but I did miss a workout, so I will dock my grading. So those are my grades for the week. Real quick, if you guys ever wondered why I have this line right here, I keep seeing it. I've been meaning to mention it on video, but I haven't yet until now. That is my swim cap that's across my head. So I have a tan of my swim cap. I bet, I'm not gonna show you the back of my head, but it's back there as well. It goes all the way to the side, all the way around, and I've had that since I've been swimming. So it's, yeah, just in case, I always see it. Let's see, so big learning, right? We discussed the lungs coming down from high altitude, so I don't have to discuss that anymore, but that was a huge eye-opener. You know what? It's 11 weeks away, and I am very content with my progress. I've been working out very hard, and this is the first week that I feel my energy levels down. I mean, like I feel it. Like in the morning, I'm waking up, I don't feel as chirpy. You know, I can feel like I'm struggling. I definitely feel tired. I took a huge nap today, like a 1 hour nap. I am slowly catching up on my rest, but I'm definitely need to be careful with these upcoming weeks. Again, these upcoming weeks are crucial because now we're getting closer and closer to the race. And if I burn out or if I'm overtraining, then it's gonna definitely take away a lot of my progress. So I definitely need to monitor my energy levels. I need to monitor how I feel. I don't think I'm overtraining, although I say that. This week leaving, I just, I feel behind. I feel I'm feeling guilty on the inside for missing some of the workouts. And traveling, emergency room, waking up early in the morning to catch the flights. It's definitely taking a toll, and I need to be careful. So definitely wanted to document my energy levels. Again, 11 weeks away, and these upcoming weeks are going to be tough on the body. Because again, I'm supposed to be peaking, and we don't start to ease off the training program until 3 weeks prior to the race. So for the next 7 weeks is going to be very tough, very, very tough for the training. So I really need to, again, be very careful on my conditioning. Make sure that I don't overtrain, because I can't do this, come this far, and then burn out. So that will be the focus for the upcoming weeks. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and we will see you week 10 next week.